All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews, and we're back with more of our Road to Avengers Endgame MCU movie reviews, and we're up to Ant-Man, the movie that came after Avengers Age of Ultron. So full spoilers if you have not seen this movie. I love this movie. I did not know that I was going to love this movie. I mean, I like Paul Rudd, and I like Michael Douglas, and I like Evangeline Lilly, and I like Michael Pena, and I like Corey Stoll, but there was still this like kind of I don't know, cloud of like dread over the possibility that this is going to be like, this was that era where like starting with Guardians where everybody just was like, is this the one that's going to suck? They didn't say that about Avengers Age of Ultron, but after it came out and people, I don't know. I feel like I said on my Avengers Age of Ultron review, I really like Avengers Age of Ultron. I have no look, every movie has problems. And I don't know what the big deal is with Avengers Age of Ultron. If you want to grade that movie on the aspects that you do, like most critics review a movie, yeah, that's fine. I mean, they have the right to do that. I don't have the same problem. And so after this huge movie comes out and disappoints the select right people who talk about things and let things get up their ass, a lot of people, when Ant-Man was coming out, were like, whoa, if Ultron sucked, then Ant-Man's probably going to suck. And so it kind of, it's that whole thing that happened, it's been going on these days of just like, sometimes I can see a trailer for a movie that's not Marvel and go, that's gonna just not be good. And then I'll see it and I'll go, yeah. You know, like there's certain times you can just go, yeah, that is just not gonna be good. Pick out like just about any YA movie, and and you know that it's not going to be good. But the thing is like, I'm not the audience for that kind of thing. It's also subjective. So when Ant-Man finally came out, I was nervous because I had let the media and just almost like there's a desire, like what's better than a success? A failure for the media, like that they get to milk a story to death. But unfortunately for them, and I love how they jump right on the bandwagon. Oh, it's so good. Oh, you didn't say anything bad about it. That it turned out to be a really fun movie and something that you kind of need. It's a palate cleanser. I wish Ant-Man and the Wasp were as big of a palate cleanser for Infinity War, but this was definitely a nice, fresh look at things. The other thing it comes about with Ant-Man, just it's impossible, it seems, for people to not talk about what could have been. And that's fine if you want to dwell on that. Edgar Wright, a very well-respected director, a person that I think is a really great director, was supposed to direct Ant-Man. If you haven't heard this story a million times, and why it's still relevant, I don't know. Because when people talk about this, like people that I know, or people that are into movies, they always eventually get around to, well, Edgar Wright would have made it different. And it's like, yeah, well, the movie's made and it's been in the can and it's been out for a while, so get the fuck over it. You didn't get it. Sorry. And then it also goes, the conversation goes to, well, the way Disney does things, and it's like, yeah, I know, it's, you don't have to like it. Is the product good? It's like, we don't like going to Walmart, but unless they make prices better at other stores, we're gonna keep going there. So it's like Disney, like doing things. Well, if you don't have to see the movies, you don't have to like the way they do business. I don't like the way they handled the James Gunn thing, but I'm still gonna go see Guardians 3. Do you know what I'm saying? So the whole dwelling on this Edgar Wright thing, years now after this movie's come out, is just pathetic, in my opinion. Just get over it. And again, that's just my opinion. You don't want to get over it, don't get over it. You want to spend your days, crying into a pillow over what could have been, go right ahead. I do like that Edgar Wright started it, though. I like the direction they took. And you can still see Edgar Wright's influence in this movie. He is a great director. Baby Driver is great. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is great. Shaun of the Dead is good. Hot Fuzz is good. But what they did here with Peyton Reed is just fine. Yeah, Peyton Reed isn't Edgar Wright. We would have seen something insane with Edgar Wright. Whoa. But you act like, people that say that act like the movie in front of them isn't good already. And the whole woulda, coulda, shoulda thing, I mean, it's like worrying about The Last Jedi now. Like, it's done, it is what it is, and we just gotta move on. And, I know that Star Wars fans, that telling them that's like impossible, but, but let's just, jump into this and tell you that, like, Paul Rudd, perfect. Scott Lang, I love it. We need more of the characters to have kind of these personalities. The first movie that they did all the de-aging in, I believe. And Michael Douglas, even though now, okay, after a few years, he does kind of look like a video game cutscene placed inside a real movie. Like, his character looks like they picked him up from a video game and put him down. It still looks good. It still looks cool. I also love that we got Haley Atwell back as a, age 50s, 60s Sharon Carter. We got Howard Stark is back, played by, oh my God, why can't I remember his name? Because I love him so much, from Mad Men. Oh God, it's gonna like come to me like in the middle of the review. He's great. And then you got Martin Donovan, who's kind of been an indie actor throughout like a lot of things. He's been in a bunch of stuff, and normally he's just that guy. He looks like somebody who would be playing Chandler Bing's brother. I don't know why. But that whole beginning is great because it shows, like the importance of the Pym particles and his history with, the formation of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. And it's just really cool, slamming his head on the ground when he talks about his wife. And we get to see what happened, like she went, subatomic and, presumably died. And then we get introduced to Scott and, the whole joke. I mean, there's weird little jokes in here, like Baskin Robbins always finds out. That's just a strange touch that none of these movies have. And I don't know if that's an Edgar Wright influence or not, but then you got Michael Pena's character, who's just always got his, the way they film his backstories, the way he tells the story. It's fun. I mean, and again, I'm just going to keep saying that this movie is just fun. And they get him to go eventually, because he's trying to get back on track. He doesn't want to be a burglar anymore. He wants to be with his daughter and just get his life on track. But everybody else basically is keeping him from being, like a good person, and so he lets himself get led because he gets fired from Baskin Robbins, and they go to rob this house, and it's owned by Hank Pym, who's played by Michael Douglas again. And I love the scene where he, figures out how to get into the safe. All these things. It shows that Scott's not a dummy. He's got physical abilities by getting into the house. He's got technological abilities by figuring out how to break into things. So it's different than most Paul Rudd characters, because most Paul Rudd characters are kind of incompetent. or if not, not incompetent, but just kind of just the everyman, I do what I do. I go to an office job, kind of rom-com kind of thing like that. Evangeline Lilly in this, I've loved her since Lost. Her star is kind of diminished for me a little bit, because she hasn't really been in that much that really did it for me. Like the Hobbit movies, well, no. I mean, it gives her gets her noticed, but I don't really. And she had like a very small part in the Hurt Locker a long time ago, so it's just we need another Lost or something to bring her back up. But just then him learning about their whole world and the suit and the special effects and the way they do it all and how this all really is kind of a heist movie. It's doing things in a different way, and I like that each one of these MCU movies is kind of like its own unique thing. Corey Stoll as the villain. Again, this is, like, I get what people say sometimes about the villains, but again, I keep saying that, Marvel's villains are, if you get like somebody like Loki, great. And like Kingpin, great. But most of these villains are just there to be a device for, so that the hero has something to overcome. They say a hero is only as good as his villain sometimes. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's if you care about the journey that the hero's going on. And I gave a crap about what Scott's going through. And will he, be able to get back, with his family, get his life on track and all that stuff, while being able to, become an Avenger. Speaking of which, that scene where they go to rob Avengers Mansion, or the new facility in New York after Ultron, and he meets Falcon, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie, because it comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh shit, this isn't just a regular Stark facility, this is the Avengers Mansion. And his back and forth with Falcon is great and fun. And it gives him his in, that's just boom. How does, Paul Rudd's character fit into the Avengers? And boom, just with one scene, we get our foot in the door for that. And the lamb getting blasted with the Pym particles or whatever, Corey Stoll's version of them, what's this, Darren Cross? Of course, they always have names like that, right? Darren Cross. Corey Stoll's a good actor. He was really good in House of Cards season 1. He's been good on shows like The Romanoffs and things like that. In this, he is just hamming it up. And that's fine. It really is. Him being Yellow Jacket is cool too. I like the concept of the Yellow Jacket technology, that somebody would use it to create an army of soldiers, and now there's a bidding war and there's Hydra involved. So that even though Winter Soldier is over, Hydra's still running around, as we see in like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that. Trying to think of anything else really to say about this, because in the end they win. There's some really cool stuff with where they play The Cure in a helicopter and the whole train set thing. And I'm not telling you stuff you haven't known. Like, if you haven't seen Ant-Man, go see Ant-Man. Don't listen, listen to just hear this and say you should go see it if you haven't seen it. The post-credit scene just sets up Ant-Man and the Wasp. It gives her the Wasp costume, and then it gets that Captain America Civil War scene, which is cool. That's where they put it. Like, yes, put the Wasp scene in the middle and the Captain America scene at the end. That's how you do it. You get them the little cool thing, like ha 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 in the middle, and then that payoff at the end. Even though, yeah, you see it again in Civil War, but it means that they're showing the connection that Ant-Man made with Falcon, saying, hey, I know a guy. And this movie's just funny. Like, straight up funny. And everybody gets a chance to shine, and the stuff with the ants is all really cool. And I don't know, I just think that even though Edgar Wright didn't direct this, it's still a really solid movie. And I think to just go, well, we got the second choice of a director. Not every movie turns into Solo. And this is one of those examples again where it just started seeming like the before the movie coming out is the big event. All the ways we can pick trailers apart and judge what every single thing in the movie is. So then when we finally see the movie, we're not surprised by anything, because we've talked about it to death, because we can't not, or we can't not watch these videos that get posted up that know who asked for them. Anyway, that's a topic for another day, because I've already planned on like making a video mocking these people. But anyway, that's just me. That's my problem. So, Ant-Man, really good movie. I'm really happy watching it a second. I've probably seen Ant-Man probably like 20 times. So it was one of those movies when I did rewatch it the other day that I knew when I was making this review that I could think of any scene that I needed to. But I didn't want to go through a scene-by-scene breakdown of this movie. It's just, I remember walking out of that theater going, I'm going to see that again. And I saw it again the next day. And I saw it another time. and bought it on Blu-ray. And even, again, as usual, I have like the trailer queued up here, but I start talking so much that I don't even know that I'm supposed to switch it. Yeah, and it does look like they used some of the test footage that Ant-Man did. So, I mean, hopefully they paid Edgar Wright a little bit of money to, put his stamp on it, or let him take his idea, kind of like what they were going to do with Guardians 3, which was they were going to use James Gunn's script. And just really quick, I'm really happy with Michael Douglas in this movie. I think this is one of he doesn't get a lot anymore, it seems. And the Kaminsky method is such dog shit that I go, oh, thank God, at least we have him as Hank Pym. Because this is a role he deserves. I do wish that we could have seen him more as younger Hank Pym. But Hank Pym, since he's got kind of a complicated backstory, mostly around the controversy of the issue where his Ant-Man smacks around his wife, and he's not a nice guy. Hank Pym, in the comics, historically, is not a nice person. He's really, really smart, and he's been on the hero side for most of it. But he's one of those guys that people don't really like to be around. And so the way that they did it here, they made him unlikable enough to other people, but likable enough to go, oh, he's just that way because they've kind of screwed him over in the past. And so I think that was the right direction, because I don't think the MCU needs the jerk-off Hank Pym version of this. So anyway, that's it. That's my review for Ant-Man. Solid movie. Does not deserve to be compared to what could have been. Just be happy with what you have. So anyway, if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Otherwise, we will be back with Captain America Civil War, the next movie in the order of movies. Yeah, so this is Robin Smirking Gun Review saying have a great day, and we'll see you next time.